So I'm going to ask you guys a few questions, and we can go in order, and I'm sure you guys have different answers, and we can talk about it. Like I said in the beginning, October 7th was a sea change. It was a sea change for all of us. What do you think, and maybe Tanya will start, you get lucky to sit next to me, what has changed since October 7th, and whether it's in the world, to the Jewish people, or maybe, I won't put you on the spot, but even to you personally, how has things changed since October 7th?
I think so much has changed, and yet some things have remained the same. What has remained the same is resiliency that has always been in the fabric of who Jews are. But what has changed is the temperature. And I think as Jewish people in the United States, I'll speak for myself, we forgot our history, and we all believed that we had become highly assimilated once again, hearkening back to the 1930s in Europe, where Jews had assimilated, and it didn't matter whether you were Reformed or Orthodox. When the Nazis came, they took you. And I don't think we were aware how pervasive anti-Semitism still was, not just in the United States, but globally.
You know, my whole life I'd been surrounded by so many Jews, and it was such an important part of my identity and my humor. I mean, I started doing stand-up when I was 13, and I'm 15 now, but I started doing stand-up when I was 13. Like, I think my entire set was probably like bar mitzvah jokes. Like, really, that was my whole set. So it was a huge part of my identity. But like I remember the week before October 7th, me and my dad were joking, because I'm not like religious. I cut my payas right before this. But I'm not religious. And so there was like, I joked about my dad, I think, in Sukkot 2023, where he was saying the prayer, and I didn't know the words or something. And I was just like, yeah, you really got your money's worth out of that Jewish day school, huh? And we all laughed. And then, a week later, October 7th happened. And all of a sudden, like, everything that I had thought was like background information in my life all of a sudden became material that I could put right in the forefront. And not just like the knowledge I learned from such a Jewish upbringing, but just, I think, the passion of what it means to be part of the Jewish people. Like, I don't know another way to say it except for that I just sort of felt it deep in my bones.
I love when people are going towards their Judaism. And I've seen that so much since October 7th, right? I've seen people who have embraced being Jewish and giving to federations or other charitable organizations, and have gone towards wearing a yarmulke or doing Shabbat. And that's been a beautiful, beautiful thing. But not to be negative, but there's a big negative here. We are facing a fight for a survival of our people. I don't know how else to say it except in those terms. You know, you watch a movie like this, and that movie was so powerful, my God. ADL released a report today that there were 10,000 anti-Semitic incidents in the United States since October 7th of last year. 10,000. They've been keeping records since 1979. This was far and away the most extreme number they've ever had. And this was after October 7th, when there should be sympathy towards us, right? There should be a world that says, wait a minute, the Jews got attacked. We need to defend the Jewish people. We've seen this story before. It shouldn't happen again. But it is happening again.
I didn't see October 7th coming. I don't think that would have been possible for anyone to imagine. But I did see October 8th coming. I unfortunately had a preview for what happens when Israel's attacked and then Israel responds to defend herself back in 2021, when I first made the full pivot to using my platform for advocacy. And I knew exactly this pattern that happens. Israel's attacked, Israel responds to the attack, and the world demonizes Israel, and then the world demonizes the Jews. This was the first time that not only did I see our vulnerability as Jews, but Israel's vulnerability at the same time, which is just incredibly frightening. And if anything, with all the anti-Semitism we are seeing throughout the world, we understand our need for Israel that much more.
You know, there's a lot of Jewish organizations. There's a lot of, heads of this organization and these letters and that letters, but I think you guys have realized and you've tapped into a nerve that today's world, this is where people get their information. You guys are really the ones who are getting the message out. And I think for Aish, Rabbi Berg mentioned it before, we decided to jump into the election for the World Zionist Congress, which is has a huge resources that are put towards different things, helping the Jewish people. But, there's a lot of organizations that have been around for a long time, and there's a lot of people that have been in seats for a long time, and we've really made it our mission, and that's why we reached out to you guys to all join, because we want new voices there. We want voices that are really on the front line, fighting for the Jewish people, caring about the Jewish people, putting themselves out there. And you guys all stepped up right away and said, we're in, and we really do appreciate it. And I do also want to say it's not just the four of you. We have over 20 college students who are on the front line. There you go, for sure. Including just recently graduated, maybe people know Shabbos Kastenbaum, who's suing Harvard. We have students who have been involved in suing other schools like Penn and Columbia. Really, students are on the front line. And so we do really ask everyone here tonight, we need to give these guys a platform. We need to make sure that these are the people that are making decisions for the Jewish people. And so support Aish Ha'am. Before you go, first of all, everyone here has a card which has more information of how you can get more involved.
I think this room is filled with people who have done extraordinary things this past year. And everyone has their own gifts from God, their own sphere of influence, their own resources that they've tapped into this past year to make a difference however they could. My husband is a plastic surgeon who has been offering pro bono surgeries to victims of anti-Semitic attacks. Any victims of October 7th. And, I think that's an amazing example of how you can use your own gifts to help the Jewish people, to help the world, tikkun olam.
I'm very, very proud to say that we were the first baseball team, and I believe the first sports team to post. We posted on October 8th at about 1 o'clock in support of Israel and the Jewish people on Instagram. And you can go on Instagram, you can look on the Miami Marlins Instagram, it's still up there. I immediately sent them exactly what to say. They watered it down a little bit because I am who I am and they are who they are. And but it's up there. It's a very strongly worded statement in support of the Jewish people.
Honestly, every video that we're all making, repost them and share them with your non-Jewish friends. It's lightning fire. Really, we are all making content, and I totally agree with what Lizzy said. Not everybody has to go be in front of the camera, but unfortunately, 95% of Jews that have audiences in front of the camera aren't doing anything. So the way I look at it, at least for my videos, I look at it as I'm giving you guys social media warfare ammunition. We are giving you guys the weapons, but you guys have to go use them. It's true, seriously. We're making the ammo, but our videos are only as powerful as how much they're shared. I went to the West Bank. If that video got 1,000 views, nobody would be talking about it. I wouldn't have done anything. That video got 20 million views, so it made a big impact. So, but you guys helped make that impact.
First of all, that's an amazing point, Zach. And the power of social media is that we can all really work together. And Aish, this is something we've really invested a huge amount in over the last year, really. Since October 7th, Aish, we've gained 600,000 followers on social media. Our team just shared it with me today. We've had, I think, over 400 million video views since October 7th last year. And so it's really something that we can all multiply, help each other, and really that's something everybody here can do to make that happen. Okay, Tanya.
I think we all feel how positive the energy is in this room, right? And it's because of that shared interest and our shared values. And I'm here to say that there's actually so much each and every one of you can do. And that is the beauty of what it means to be Jewish, because we all have so many different ways of contributing to our future.
Just want to end with one message. One of the stories we heard tonight was about Binyamin Early. Binyamin Early, the soldier who was killed in Gaza, his mother Jen, who gave over the story of her son Binyamin. Binyamin would have just recently turned 22 years old. It was a story that actually personally hit me because I have a son, Binyamin, who's 21. And so I think all of us in all of these stories, I think we sort of see ourselves. We see that that could be me, that's my family. We see our names, we see similar stories that we all have. And that's part of that connection that we feel in the Jewish people. So Jen Early, I saw she told a story recently. We didn't capture it in the film, but it struck me so powerfully. She said after her son Binyamin was killed, she went into his room and she found a letter that he had written in his room. And on this letter, he had written 55 things that he wanted to accomplish in his life. He had a list. These were the list of 55 things he wanted to accomplish. I actually wrote a few of them down because they were so powerful. He wrote, he wants to have good friends. He wants to join an elite unit in the Israeli army. He wants to be able to talk to God every day. He wants to have enough money. Enough money. I thought that was a good way to put it. He wants to be humble. He wants to see the building of the temple in Jerusalem. This is a young man who wrote this list of 55 things, and amazingly, his mother, Jennifer, said that after she looked at the list, she thought that he had actually accomplished 80 to 90% of the things on his list. And so the question when I heard that, I asked myself, and I think it's the question for all of us, is what's on our list? What are we writing down and saying, you know what? Who do we want to be? And who do we want to be? Yes, is personal. It's who do we want to be as people, but what's the impact that we want to have for the Jewish people and for the world? And we really do invite every single one of you to join us, Aish, in everything we're trying to do to really bring the Jewish people together, to educate every Jew, to connect every Jew, to make every Jew feel strong and proud. And if we can all make that list of who we want to be a year from now, and if we can all say, I checked off 80% of what I did, I think we can all stand proud. Am Yisrael Chai, we thank you all for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you to all
Thank
of
you,
our
Rabbi.
amazing
Thank you. You're
panelists.
amazing. Thank you very much.